The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, America's competition shotgun, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays. With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
This is what I have to work with, everyone.
And Sean Alley.
Like I said, I was just thirsty.
Oh, boy.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. It's showtime.
Welcome back, everyone. What's up? We got Mr. Rad Chad Roberts with us. What's up, Chad?
Hey, guys. How are you? I should say Guy. How are you, Guy?
Going in for the big man.
You're missing somebody.
Yeah, I know it, but he's I'm telling you, dude, he is slam busy. I was talking to him earlier today. He was out in the middle of the field in 35-degree weather trying to get some kind of sign stuck to a generator or something. I'm like, what? So
he should really hire ChatGPT to do it for him. Sorry.
Oh, man, dude, can you believe? I was thinking about it again today. It's like, we are really starting year 6 with the Dead Pair Podcast. It seems like just yesterday we started this, and I know you were a part of it in the beginning, so.
It seems like yesterday that you called me and introduced yourself to me, and, and I just, it blows me away that, the friendship, of course, of all that stuff, but just the years have they have just cooked on by, haven't they?
Well, that was a few years before I started this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, I've known your ugly mug that long. Gee, man, Christmas.
Yeah, I know. That's what a lot of people say that know me. It's like something that you can't get rid of. I'm like a good train wreck. You got to keep looking to see what happens, right?
Yeah, I feel your pain. I sometimes I'm labeled as that same cancer.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's why we work well together. We can both be completely crazy together. And they can all just do like the old wrestling shows and suck it.
Oh man, no, there's a lot of good stuff coming next year. I've got some. Well, first of all, a little bit of exciting stuff. We have new merchandise coming out next year. Really excited about that. A couple of different variations of hats, shirts,
I saw that. Looks
sleeve shirts.
Great, by the way. Sorry for cutting you off, but I was like, yes, I'm so excited about it because it looks really, really good. I saw the stuff you sent me.
Yeah, we're going to have some long sleeve shirts, some short sleeve shirts, and some hoodies, some hats. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up with that. But for the remainder of this year, the Black Friday sale with Ranger is over with. However, they do have a holiday sale. So let me read through this real quick. It says, at RERanger.com, explore Ranger's new holiday lineup, including the Derek Mine Signature Series lenses, crafted in partnership with world champion shooter Derek Mine. Choose light or dark amber lenses designed to perform in any lighting condition. You will also find the new Duster. Has a new Impact Red and Impact Blue bold frames built to perform and turn heads. Depends on whose head it's on, I guess. And for more great gift ideas, check out the React lenses, the Super Shot, and more of Ranger's best-selling performance eyewear. Find the perfect gift this holiday season at RERanger.com. And a reminder to use the code DEADPAIR10 at checkout. So keep that in mind. For some more holiday gifts, this is not something that was written down by Ranger. Sorry, this is my own doing. Taconic also has the code DEADPAIR10 at checkout. And you know what? I mean, honestly, you got to visit all of our sponsors this holiday season. If you're a really good Santa Claus, you can visit KolarArms.com, Fiocchi USA, Atlas Traps, Rhino Chokes, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Gun and Trophy Insurance, Long Range Taconic Distilleries, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works. All the links to all of our sponsors are on our webpage and in the show description each and every week. Had somebody reach out to me the other day and said, man, where do I get that Taconic Distillery? I'm like, are you kidding? You're kidding me right now, right? Like you're asking me this question.
That was the talk of the town at the Nationals because we were over at the Atlas booth and somebody had mentioned, actually John, the guy that runs the store there, has mentioned about that stuff because he had a friend that had got him some. And I don't think he realized you were sponsored by him or the podcast is sponsored by him. And he was like, oh, that stuff is amazing. I can't remember which one it was. Wasn't it like
he
a
probably, I
syrup
think
one.
he had the maple. He had
the maple.
in
That's
there,
what it
the
was.
maple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said it was just amazing. So,
Yeah.
and,
Good stuff. And
yeah. So look, I mean, I've used the Derek Mine signature glasses just to back up a little bit. They work really well. I'm still a React fan. Always will be, just because I have my hand in the ultimate light, and I'm getting old. So the yellow lenses work well, even though I have good eyes. But I will tell you this, I was out golfing not too long ago with some guys at work, and, we can't golf. So we were losing balls left and right. And I had a pair of dusters with the purple lenses. And I'll tell you what, you can see golf balls. I don't know what it was doing to the background. Obviously, just the whole, the concept of what clay shooting lenses do. I was able to see the golf ball and find them, and to a point where they have the look of some of the more other popular, sunglass brands out there. However, they're with a purpose, right? So I had 4 guys buy dusters so they can golf with.
Really?
And then
hilarious.
Of course, I've been dabbling, as you know, back into RC car racing, and the guys are all using, their wings and their buggy bodies and truck bodies are all got fluorescent colors on them, so they can see them at night or under the lights or whenever they're racing, because they're pretty small when you're up on the driver's stand. And I let a couple guys use some dusters to pull out the orange and the bright colors. And they were very impressed that they're like, and this is what you guys shoot in? I'm like, yeah, but they're also something you could use and look cool in for RC car racing, since, it's a sport that you don't really look cool doing, but it is fun to participating in. So yeah, just, there's so many crossovers with the glasses that they make, from just, and they obviously, they work in all conditions. So check them out, everybody. Yeah. They're really good.
Well, I'm excited because they've got new frames and new lenses coming out next year. So I'm really excited about that. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about that, so I guess I better shut up. But now, if you're Christmas shopping, you're hearing this, you've got, a week or so left before Christmas. Any one of our sponsors, if you have a shooter on your gift list, any one of our sponsors would make you the best Santa Claus ever. So get into it, man. I mean, even... I was thinking about the other day, like gun and trophy insurance. I mean, you wouldn't think that would be a big deal, but to give someone an insurance policy, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, I'd like that. That'd be awesome. Now, any one of our sponsors, you think about Rhino Chokes, or, maybe an Atlas Trap gift certificate, or maybe a long range gift certificate. There's any one of those would work great. So check them out. Chad, what about you, man? I mean, we're into December now. Are you training, getting ready for next year, or are you taking a break, or what are you doing?
Woo, man, you're asking a loaded question there, buddy. So yeah, I'm teaching. Obviously it's off season for us. My last shoot was back in the first week of November. It was the Maywood Classic, which is where they gave out a, I don't know if you guys saw my social media last year, but I won a wrestling belt, which is probably one of the coolest prizes I've ever won, since I'm awesome. A big, big macho man, Randy Savage friend, or friend. I'm a fan. And, so I did not win it this year. I shot pretty poorly that day, but, I came off the nationals. That was a big whirlwind, where it was just, lots of shooting with some good ups and a lot of downs and some reflection. And like anybody else, it's part of the game, and we're just going through it. So, I came home, I'm dealing with some stuff with my family back home in Montana. So basically going to keep shooting locally, keep doing those state shoots, do some of the regionals next year, like the Western Regional, the Worlds, and the Nationals. Unfortunately, I had to pull out a couple other regionals and possibly some even bigger stuff, depending on how things go, just for timing purposes. So it's got me to, I should say it's made me have to take a hard stop and look at everything I'm doing. I'm working on some new sponsors.
Kind of like a reevaluation.
What's that?
Kind of like a reevaluation, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has to. It's weird out here because, I'm sure just like you, Jason, you're in Florida. we don't stop shooting. If you do, it's for other reasons, right? You're hunting
Right.
or, I'm not forced to stop shooting at clay targets. I can shoot as much as I want in shorts pretty much all year round. So that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? So you can get burned out from that, or you can, like me, I haven't been doing it as long as some of my buddies out there. So I'm always eager to shoot at targets if I can. But with everything that's going on, I have some sponsor stuff that's coming up that I can't really talk about right now, but I got some, gonna swap some out and, move around. And I'm not a guy I'm very loyal, as everybody knows, just like you're very loyal to your sponsors for the podcast. You like to promote what you use, and I'm in the same boat. So, had to make some decisions with what's going on with me and just my program in general. And, so some good things came out of that. And we'll announce those as we get into probably December, January. With the downtime, I've been able to work on a lot of things that I've been saying for a million years and talking to you about, Jason, on the side. You're probably, you probably are done listening to me, but finally going to launch it. I'm finally going to launch that website that I've been always wanting to do. Hopefully it'll be out in the springtime or even sooner. I'll have a place for people to, get some lessons, do some, I'll have it connected to a YouTube channel and then a paid program for instructions. So if you can't get me and you want to get the next best thing, I know there's a lot of other guys out there that do it, but I'm going to keep it more simple and simplified to where my wheelhouse is for the intermediate to beginner shooter. And then, from there on, I'll obviously do my private instruction, which then I can jump into somebody that's at a higher level or what have you, so I can really get into the nitty gritty. I think that I have a lot to give out there with my knowledge, with the people I've worked with over the years, and it's my spin. So it'll either be something that people watch and, tune in and pay for, or they won't. And it will be something fun for me to create and do something that I've been wanting to do for years, because I've always been kind of afraid of doing a website. So we'll do that. And I have some other things in the fire that I'm working on that Jason, you're going to help me with. And if those work out, it will be really super fun, and hopefully bring that with part of the store program that I'll have on that website. So it'll be an all-inclusive, pretty much all things rad, right? All things rad chat. Yeah. So everything I've ever been into, like doing, care about, I want to incorporate my consumer base so they can feel free to be part of it too. So it's a community and it's a movement, right? So that's cool. What I want to do, and BPSI will always be part of that and that side of that. So I just want to expand and hopefully, help people shoot and go out and want to shoot and show them how to do it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Speaking of taking people out shooting and showing them how to do it, the Dead Pair podcast is partnering with the NSSF. I've mentioned this a few times now with their Plus One program, and people have asked me, well, what's a Plus One program? What's that all about? Well, we are going to have Mr. Justin Morrissey on here in just a minute. In fact, he's texting me right now. We're going to get him on and talk about the program and explain what it is and the incentives that the NSSF is giving to people that mentor new shooters. So
I can't wait for
cool,
that. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. I mean, Sean and I have pushed it for years, is take someone who's shooting, take them to a tournament. Well, now there's going to be incentives behind it, like motivation for you to get out and do this. Right. So kind of cool. I'm looking forward to what he has to say. And like I said, Chad, he is texting me. So let's get him on the horn. We'll be right back.
Hold real quick though, Jason. You forgot the most important part. You just did a big shoot down in Georgia. Can you tell us about it real quick?
Oh, well, it wasn't big, but it was fun. It was the last blast at the Meadows. As everybody knows, it's been made public. Dominic Bethel is stepping down from the Meadows. He's going to go on to some other endeavors. There's a new group taking on. So they did a last blast. Matt Miller and Jonathan Henrici set targets. Seth also set, I think he set Sunday's targets for the main, but It was fun. There were some spicy targets there, good targets. Meadows always throws good targets anyway, but it was fun. Woof. I got a lot of stories to tell, but I can't tell them on the air. So
we'll have to do a scoops episode then, huh?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We might have to have lawyers there to see if we can say everything or not. But no, it was fun.
I love shooting.
Yeah, well, you want to talk about falling apart? This is no lie. Everybody listening to this, right? Well, the pros will just roll their eyes, but I hate to, I got to get over this thing of counting my score as I'm shooting, right? But between station 1 and station 9, I'd only dropped 5 targets. Between 10 and 15, I dropped 15 more targets. So talk about falling apart at the end. Holy cow. But it was one target setter to another, so that had a lot to do with it too. But man, I knew it was the last.
You know what, though? I think that for people in the sport that, counting targets, it is what it is. Look, everybody. If you're down 3 targets and you have 2 stations go, you know how many targets you're down. So
yeah.
If you ain't counting at that. Now, granted, if you're down 25 targets, please don't count your scorecard because you won't be able to between stations. It's like, but if you're down 5, it's okay to know where you sit because it puts the pressure on you. Nobody's going to put pressure on you more than that. And yourself, and learn to work through it. I mean, I've been with a lot of top pros that are sitting on 99s, and if they shoot a 98, they're going to lose the tournament, and they know they're on a 99 because they've only missed 1 target, so they've had to learn how to navigate that. So I think it's cool, man. Just think about it. Let it be like a pothole in the road, and next time don't miss 15, please.
Yeah. Well, my problem is I keep staring at that pothole, so I hit it every time. It's like, come on, man,
that's funny.
Avoid it. But yeah, no, it's one of those things in my game that if I even have a game, but it's one of those things I need to work on. It's one of those self-policing things I need to do. But no, seriously though, Justin is waiting on us, so we need to roll.
Let's get down there.
Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back with Mr. Justin Morrissey.
The Dead Pair.
All right, welcome to the show, Mr. Justin Morrissey, the Director of Social Media for the National Shooting Sports Foundation. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks for having me on.
We got Rad Chad joining us. He's filling some very large shoes for Mr. Large in Charge. What's up there, Chad?
Yeah, and I have small feet, so it's going to be something else, right? So hang on, everybody. I'm here. So we'll see what happens. I fill up the screen. I know that we're only doing audio, but for you and I, we're seeing each other, and I'm trying to fill up the screen. So.
You got to get way closer to camera to fill Sean's shoes. No, just kidding. Justin, if you would, please tell everyone a little bit about your background and how your position came to be with the NSSF.
Yeah, that'll probably be the hardest question of the day here. So my background stems from I live in Wisconsin. Grew up hunting and target shooting. Got lucky enough to find a good career path in college, and I wound up getting to film for some TV shows, outdoor TV shows, and do freelance media jobs. And then I got connected to the NSSF in 2014. So I've been there for about 11 years now, and have just grown in my career there, and have gotten to take on the Plus ONE initiative, which we'll be talking about a lot today. But yeah, I get to work with a lot of people in the industry, businesses. The National Shooting Sports Foundation is the trade association for the firearms and ammunition industry. So our members are retailers, ranges, manufacturers, importers, exporters, media, and really any business or professional who has any working in the industry. So yeah, but we also have programs that are more target shooter, hunter, gun owner focused. And so I do a lot of that stuff more on the consumer side to just help encourage participation and promote safety and so on. So that's the summary.
Well, when we had Mr. Bartuzzi on and we talked about the survey and everything, off microphone, we talked about doing something together, and it was a natural fit, the Plus ONE program. And for everybody listening, you've heard me talk the last few weeks about the Plus ONE program. If you go over to the Dead Pair .com. You'll see the big Plus One banner. You can click on that and go to it. Now, Justin, if you could explain to everyone what this program is and what it's for.
Yeah, so the Plus One initiative is a peer-to-peer mentorship program, and it's kind of transforming right now into a really like a network of mentorship programs throughout the country, throughout the United States, where we kind of unite forces, and it's kind of become a co-op where we just want to create opportunities for people who want to help others in their communities. So we have programs nationwide with a number of organizations, like a couple dozen organizations, where it's an easily adoptable, replicable program or curriculum that's adopted, and we can really scale efforts and help people no matter where they live, no matter what their budget is. The idea is we want to make sure that people at minimum understand firearm safety concepts and understand, firearm fundamentals, and then also give them the pathway to increase their skills and increase their training through other opportunities that the industry offers. So yeah, that's probably the best summary for Plus One to get started.
Well, and Sean and I over the last 5 years have preached over and over again, every episode, take someone new shooting, take them to a tournament. So partnering with the NSSF and the Plus One program is just like, it seemed to be the perfect fit for both of us. Because now we have a way to incentivize those that regularly take, new people shooting. And we've got people that email us all the time. I mean, like there's one gentleman, and I don't want to call his name. I don't know if he wants me to or not, but, he emails us, it seems like every week, and he's got a new group of people he's got photographs with that he's taking shooting. Like he's really passionate about this. This is a perfect program for that individual. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yep, exactly. So from an individual standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a nonprofit organization standpoint that hosts these programs and opportunities, Plus One really unites all of those people together in a very community-centric way. Mm-hmm. So that he sounds exactly like the type of leader and ambassador that we're looking for the program.
Well, and Chad, you and I have talked about it a bunch. I mean, the only way that we're going to grow shooting sports, sporting clay, not just sporting clays, but all forms of shooting sports, it's the participants themselves like us that are going to have to take new people shooting, right, Chad? I mean, it's not all on the NSSF to do it, or NSCA or NSSA. It's the people that participate that are going to have to do it.
I've always said that too, because I think, this is where I'll come in and say something a little different. I mean, I think for us, that's the only thing we can do, right? So I think that as we dive into some of these different programs, like with what Justin's doing, maybe there's a better and different way out there, right? So, I mean, if you go back, I was just thinking about when you were talking, Justin, like when you go back to when I was in 6th grade or 5th grade, I mean, hunter safety was part of the curriculum in my junior high and the younger classes, like elementary school, where I'm from in Montana. And, I grew up with a firearm in my car in the back window with the windows rolled down, and we went shooting after school or whatever. Obviously times have changed, but it's I always hear that from everybody that, well, the times have changed. We just can't do that. It's, the G word is a bad word and all that. But I also don't see people really pushing it in the schools like that in the back, and like they used to, where they would actually, I think safety starts from, knowledge, and knowledge is, is what we have to teach. And I think, from the industry that I currently work in cycling, Shimano, the big thing, and, after they had their rebuilding of their country in Japan, cycling is just a way of life. They get up and instead of going to swim practice, everybody learns how to ride a bicycle at a very, very young age. And about 10, 15 years ago, Japan went through a situation where they aren't using cycling as a sport. They only use it for transportation. But on the flip side, you come to the United States and everybody uses cycling as a sport type of a situation than instead of using it as a transportation. So it's, it's a little different. Europe's the same way as Japan. And I feel like when I look at the crossbreeding of the different types of sports, like, shooting, and for example, it's like for right now, everything feels like it's on my shoulders and Jason's shoulders, right? We have to go out and take somebody new shooting. We have to do these podcasts, and we just hammer it every day. For me as a coach, I don't really take new shooters out shooting from myself. I didn't go out and pick them out. They found me and they want to learn how to shoot. But, there's that thing, like, how did they know about coming out and getting a coach? How did they come out and think like that is even a possibility of coming out to a club to go shooting and have somebody teach them how to shoot? There's a huge disconnect there. I don't know what the answer is, but right now we're going to hold the flag up like Jason and I always talk about, and we're going to keep on preaching it. But hopefully, with programs like this and, some other ideas out of the box, we can get back to where it's a common thing to see somebody take a hunter safety class, whether they shoot at an animal and, for food, or if they go shoot a clay target or shoot at a steel pie and out at 100 yards, whatever it is, that they're at least learning about it. So it's not this big scary thing, and that's, I don't know how I fix that as a person. Right. So that's our big conversation all the time.
Yeah, that's a really unique and good example about the bicycle riding too, where like it's very similar with guns in the United States, where like it's a right of ours, it's a natural thing. Like people exercise their right to carry, but we're constantly trying to battle, this perspective, nationwide perspective, right? This societal perspective, and it's like, I don't like the feeling that the weight is on our shoulders. I feel that as well in my position at NSSF. And I'm really lucky to have, NSSF and the resources that NSSF provides to help push something that I'm so passionate about with mentorship and be able to, really guide this in a good direction. But I go to R3 events, and I track along with R3. R3 is recruitment, retention, reactivation, and there's an initiative specifically around R3 for hunting and the shooting sports. And when it comes to bringing in shooting sports coaches and thinking like, okay, well, how do they recruit, retain, and reactivate target shooters? How do they recruit and retain students who come in? And then you go beyond like the youth shooting aspect, right? Youth shooting sports aspect, and you look at like anybody, no matter what age they are, or no matter where they live, any, geographically or demographically, any of the challenges that somebody faces. And we're realizing that what we need to do is really connect all these organizations and all these people who are doing the exact same thing, but feel the exact same way, and that they're in their own silo or they're isolated, and that a lot of weight is on their shoulders, when the reality is we kind of all feed the same pot. We're all promoting the same thing that we all are passionate about. And it doesn't really matter how somebody gets started. Most likely, if they're going to start shooting clays, they're going to start punching paper with a pistol, or, shooting long range, or with a rifle or whatever, or go out deer hunting or small game hunting or whatever. So it's the idea of like, we all need to recruit, and we need to allow every single person who comes into the fold to just understand the amazing array of possibilities and all of the different things that they can do in their own way. And like, they can be in the steering wheel, and we're all here to help them.
Well, sometimes we can all live in a very small world and we don't even realize it. I guess maybe this is a dumb example, but it still blows my mind every year, the amount of kids that participate in SCTP but don't know about the NSCA. Like how is it that this kid is shooting sporting clays, trap, and skeet, and they don't know that there's a whole nother world out there of just competing in sporting clays. So that should tell you that alone. Now that's within shooting sports already, right? Like they're already introduced to shooting sports and they don't even know there's an organization where they can go compete in sporting clays. So that should tell you how much of a disconnect there is from people that don't shoot, that don't own firearms. And, you know, it's one of those things. And I've tried to preach this the last few episodes as, you know, somebody says, well, man, I'm just not good with taking somebody I don't know shooting. Well, you don't have to take somebody you don't know. Well, what do you mean? Well, have you ever taken your brother shooting, or your sister, or your mom, or your dad, or your cousin, your neighbor, your coworker? I mean, and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. And it's that kind of thing right there that people need to quit looking in a small circle. You know, don't go out to the club and try to find somebody. They're already there. They already know about it. Find somebody that doesn't even know that club exists. And that's what I'm getting at with a lot of our mission statement. Justin, what are some of the other programs that NSS offers other than just the Plus One program to incentivize new shooters?
Yeah, I mean, we offer a couple resources, more so for like hunters and target shooters, specifically with participation. We offer a couple like clearinghouse websites, letsgohunting.org and letsgoshooting.org. And those are really good online resources where you can find tips and tools and all the information you need to really get started in the shooting sports or hunting. That's also where you can find Plus One resources and stories about mentorship and things around that nature. So that's more of like what we do on the participation side to like help people, give people resources. We also offer a First Shots program that ranges can adopt and host these programs or these classes, and they have this like standard curriculum. But these classes are held all around the country. I think this year we should be recruiting, bringing about 25,000 people into the classes across the country that these different ranges are bringing in through the First Shots program. So that's another thing we do. And then we've got other programs like safety. We have safety initiatives like Gun Storage Check Week and Project Child Safe that are very, very centric around safe storage and, you know, making sure that you know how to properly store your firearm, whether you're in your vehicle or house or anywhere you are. Just make sure you know that your gun is in a safe place. So
that is something that I think is vastly overlooked. You know, I really do. I think it's overlooked a lot. So that's good that you guys are doing that program.
I had a couple of questions, Justin. Number one is you were just talk about some of these other programs. This might be two part of the same question, but the first one is, are you guys, what kind of advertising are you advertising in like non-lined media, you know, going to different channels per se, to promote your stuff? I mean, do you guys do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are getting more and more and more into it, actually. So as a trade association, our business is most of the time by nature business to business. And with business to business in the firearm industry, where we have a lot of limitations based off of policy and you know, people like different companies like banks, for example, there's been a lot of discrimination towards firearm businesses. You know, there are just a lot of limitations with what we can do on the B2B side when it comes to working with non-endemic partners. But as we continue to grow down this path of you know, consumer focused efforts with Let's Go Hunting, Let's Go Shooting, Plus One, First Shots, etc., there are getting to be more and more opportunities. It's actually really exciting. It's like one of the most exciting parts of my job at this point is seeing the opportunity with partnerships expand. But there are a lot of individuals like influencers out there who are very interested in getting involved in Plus One, simply because it really, if you look at Plus One and what it represents, it is a very philanthropic, community focused thing where, you know, firearms are your firearm safety is, and I think anybody would agree with this, even like anti-gun groups, they know that that firearm safety is critical. And the more we can train people to understand firearms and, what the potential dangers are with them, but also all the fun you can have with them and, your ability to exercise your right and all that kind of stuff. Like there are a lot of people out there who are all about stepping up and helping their community and helping others and helping support their passion at the same time.
And then part of that question is well, I think you said it, but is there any more programs that the NSSF is going to be doing in the near future that is on the horizon for you guys? That is something you can talk about?
I think I don't really know if there's anything like groundbreaking, like for like big overarching programs, but there's a lot of shift happening within programs that we're currently doing. I mean, one of the newest programs is Gun Storage Check Week, and that's a 2 weeks of the year awareness campaign during June and September. It's the first week of June and first week of September. June is National Safety Month and September is National Suicide Prevention Month. And we kind of theme our messages around safety in June and suicide prevention in September. And we just try to spread the message about safe storage practices. And that's because that's so new, we're seeing just a ton of interest come in. Once again, it's something like if anybody were to argue and say like, oh, you guys are, promoting safe storage, like, how dare you? It's like nobody would say that, right? So that's
right.
Those are the opportunities right there that we are extremely, extremely excited about, because you can just see these like common beliefs and these ways we're going about things. It's responsible. We're taking the lead. We're taking the initiative, and we're respecting people's rights at the same time. So that's an example. And then Plus One, I can tell you about kind of the history with Plus One and where we've been and where we're going. When we launched Plus One in around 2017, we first started with a pledge. So it was just a simple pledge where we were like, hey, you want to be a mentor? Like, pledge to take somebody out hunting or target shooting this year. And they sign up and they, give us the number of people. And then we're like, okay, wow, you have great intentions. Good for you. You're like, but the problem is that good intentions, you can't really even know what difference somebody made. Did they even take somebody out? So after a while, and this effort, I'm not saying that what we were doing wasn't worth anything, because we were spreading awareness around the importance of mentorship and spreading brand awareness with Plus One, but it was just falling a little short, right? And so that's exactly why we're going the angle, or like the different path we're going now, is we're actually looking at ways we can do meaningful things, like more meaningful things that lead to more action in the future. And we realize that at NSSF, the nature of our business is we're a business to business company, and we're not boots on the ground out there like you guys are, right? Like you guys are at sporting clays events and skeet events and trap events, and you're promoting all the time, and you're shaking hands with youth, and you're shaking hands with adults all the time, and parents, and etc. Like, you're the partners we need in this, and we need to create a system where we're uniting on all fronts and really creating a good system for people to take action.
Well,
and so that's the direction we're going.
No, yeah, no,
it's okay.
I didn't. Yeah, are you done yet, Justin? You have so much stuff. I love it. No, I just get fired up on this stuff because, for example, well, let me ask this. I'm trying to word it correctly so it sounds right. But so you have somebody like me, and I'm a masterclass shooter. I shoot on tour. I come in contact with a lot of people. I'm sponsored by multiple partners within the industry. I do a podcast with Jason. I'm into a lot of things. I was a professional cyclist for many years in multiple different disciplines with mountain bike and BMX, and I did some crit racing. I love to surf. I love the outdoors. I'm kind of one of the weird outdoors guys because I like RC cars and just random weird snowmobile stuff or hucking, mud. I think where Jason and I get along really well is I love mud bogging or, anything with V8 fuel and, big motors and stuff like that. So I'm all over the place, but I get scared sometimes because I look at where I'm at. Like, look, I'm 53 years old. I'm going to shoot for as long as I can. At some point, I'm not going to be out on tour tearing it up with the kids anymore, thinking I can compete with those guys. At some point, I may not even, compete at all, whether it's locally or nationally. And, at some point we get to this age where we're crotchety old people and we're sitting over there on the, on a porch having a beer about, what we used to do, telling stories. And I find myself at some point being one of the guys when I first went to the first club I ever went to, you had that group sitting over in the corner and they were the guys that kind of, if you said something to them, man, they would chew your ear for hours just telling you how it is. And it was always an older guy. I remember when I first got into teaching, that was the biggest part of it because I loved to go sit in a gun shop, where I was selling some firearms. And you get these old guys, these old timers coming in, and they remind me of my granddad talking about their old 300s with, certain grain bullets and shooting this and shooting that. Or going out and, back in 1967 when I, shot 100 straight in trap and, there was, 30-minute lines just to shoot a round of trap at, LA Clays where I teach at a lot. And, the sports aren't the same, we're competing with every other sport out there, and it's expensive. What scares me sometimes though is what happens when the grandfathers of the world, they pass. And if for whatever reason they don't transfer that knowledge down to the next group, it feels, and I think we're seeing it now that, it's weird as this says, I'm saying this because you go to SCTP and it's ginormous and there's 1 million kids. But in reality, when you compare it to how many people actually shoot shotguns at a clay target, in the country, it's mind-blowing difference, right? So, I just feel like at some point what does that knowledge keep going? Because it's not like it used to be. The family units aren't the same. What's the checklist or the SOP for somebody like me that really is in my own world trying to do the things I need to do to make a living? But at the same time, we need the people to keep coming. Otherwise I don't make a living anymore. So, I mean, what is there an SOP or is it just like, hey, go out and take someone shooting, and if you're doing that, then thumbs up and thank you.
Yeah. No, I think the word SOP implies that we expect people to. I mean, like people aren't computers, right? Like it's really hard to define a one-size-fits-all solution, right? I really think it more comes down to the mindset that people have around, like, to your point of getting to an age where you're, starting to think about how much longer you can do it. I'll compare that to myself. I mean, I'm 34, so I'm not as old as you are, but I am already at a point as a hunter where I have done a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of cool things. And, at the end of your life, do you measure the like your expertise or your fulfillment as a hunter or as, whatever skill or whatever you do? Do you measure it with like the number of trophies that you have on the shelf that are going to collect dust and that no one else is going to care about after you pass away? Or do you measure it off of the relationships that you build and, the community that you were a part of, the people would probably come to your funeral, and also the legacy that you're leaving behind for the sport, right? And so that's the way I look at it. And I look at it from like the standpoint of, there are a lot of egos in sports in general, right? There are a lot of egos in shooting sports. There are a lot of egos in hunting. And I think that the culture that has been created around shooting sports and hunting that is very ego driven, it's not a bad thing in general, but I will say that it does what I guess I'll go this route. What I think that does is it distracts us from seeing the important things, like the most important things, and that is, how are we supporting each other and how are we supporting the future? I think there's no better title that anybody could gain besides mentor, teacher, instructor, or an expert, right? Like if you're an expert in what you do, what I consider an expert is somebody who can teach somebody else and teach somebody no matter what their, background is or how they learn, whether they're a book learner or hands-on in the field learner or whatever. Like if you're an expert, you're somebody who can not only do it well yourself, but you're someone who can help other people do it well and reach some of the close to the same heights as you. So I think, to answer your question and like concisely, I think it's not an SOP thing. I think it is a culture thing. I think it is a perspective thing. And that is exactly, so there's like the system side with Plus One, of course, with our partnerships and, all these programs that already exist. But participation has continued to go down with hunting and certain shooting sports. And so how do we change that? In my belief, it's not a systematic thing. It's not a system thing. It's a societal, cultural thing of, let's change the perspective here. Let's start to prioritize together the importance of building that legacy and creating a future for us, because what does it matter what we're doing right now if it doesn't continue on, right? So,
well, the two big things I've picked up on from what both of you have said, and maybe I shouldn't summarize it this shortly, but I would say it's probably, when you're dead and gone, more impactful the lives you changed than the championships you've won or titles you've won.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And as far as the SOP thing, I thought Chad had a great question, but now I understand your answer. What works in Ohio may not work in California, or what works in Texas might not work in Oregon.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
So I get what you're saying about the culture differences. There may be a totally different approach to introducing someone new to shooting sports or any form of firearms than, somewhere else in the country. So, it's kind of funny here. Not too long ago, we had an episode called Down Under Clays with a gentleman from Australia. There was 19 of them that came over, and they broke 18,000 targets apiece in the month and a half that they were over here. But they loved it, and they were inspired. I'm humble when I say this, but they were inspired by our podcast to come over here and shoot. And that's a country that owning a firearm is not easy. So, I mean, if they're that determined to do it, there's no reason why here in the United States, where we have a right to own firearms, why we shouldn't be able to do it a lot easier.
I think you bringing up what you just said, it also gets me thinking, this is how I think all the time. Like I try to think globally, right? I think of the United States and our rights in the United States, but to your point, Jason, we have to see that, like in Japan, if they're cycling, and cycling is that norm in Japan, and it wasn't in the past, and now it is, how do you change perspectives across the world, right?
Right.
Because that is like the American dream, like the Second Amendment is instilled in that in the Constitution. But like, how can we influence others in a positive way and in a responsible way? And so that's why I look at it as like, what, if we really want to change this, we got to like change minds and change hearts in this, and get people to start realizing that it's a community thing. And so anyways, that was just something I wanted to mention about more of like a global, bigger picture mindset, right? Like there are a lot more challenges out there in the world than just what we face here in the United States too. So
absolutely.
And to look at the complexity of what we're looking at in shooting sports, right? Let's look at just like anything you can do with a firearm, right? There's personal protection. There's all the different types of hunting, right? That you can use different types of firearms for. There are all the different shooting sports that help marksmanship and, promote marksmanship and all that. And like, there are just so many access points. I have a stat for you here. Out of all of our Plus One partner programs, like 4-H Shooting Sports, Passing On Outdoor Mentors, International Hunter Education Association, and the list goes on and on and on and on. In 2024, there were 62,000 mentors who supported approximately 557,000 students.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And that's what the Plus One movement represents. It's the idea that, okay, well, now this is a group of organizations. It's not just one organization. This is a group of organizations that have the same sort of thing, whether they're a teacher or they call their mentors instructors or whatever. That's the number. And so the limiting factor there now, 62,000 versus 557 students. Clearly the limiting factor is mentors, not students, right? So that's what we're trying to promote. So for every mentor, there are roughly 9 mentees. So roughly 9 per mentor. So in a community that doesn't have a program, where there are people who are eager to be mentors, but they don't have programs, the stats I just gave you are mentors who are a part of programs. If there are mentors who aren't a part of programs, you'll be lucky if they take out 1 to 3 people a year, because they do not have the incentive. They do not have the SOP. Chad, shout out with the SOP there.
You're welcome.
They don't have that, right? They don't have the curriculum. Yeah, they don't have the curriculum. And so that's why we have this network of partners through Plus One. That's why we saw that opportunity and we said, okay, we're not going to be just another program, because there are programs that exist. What we need to do is we need to be the rising tide that floats all ships. And we need to help all of these organizations, put our resources in to help all of these organizations who have mentorship programs reach these people in these communities so that we can expand the opportunities and bump these numbers up, because the opportunity is there.
I'm in.
So That's the direction we're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
absolutely.
in. Tell me where to go, boss. Sorry.
Well, go to the Dead Pair and click on the Plus One program. So
yeah, exactly.
But Justin, this has been awesome, and I do have a couple more ideas for you. So don't hang up here when we're done. We'll discuss those with you real quick. But again, you can go to thedeadpair.com, click on the Plus One banner. That'll take you right to the site. If not, it's NSSF.org. Is that right, Justin?
Yes, NSSF.org/+1. You can also go to letsgohunting.org or letsgoshooting.org, and you'll find the same resources at those sites. But yeah, NSSF.org/+1 is where you can sign up to be a mentor, and you can find other tools and resources for your mentorship needs.
Perfect.
Yeah, and if you want it simplified, if you don't want to go to the Dead Pair website, go right down into the show description. There's a link to the NSSF site right there. You can click on that. So we've made it way too easy for you. I don't want to hear any excuses from anybody. What are you talking about? Where do I go? And all these other emails I get.
Right. I did have a question. This is the nerd of me. Do you guys, now maybe you can't, and I don't know what the algorithms are on all social medias and stuff, but do you guys have a cool Plus One logo, hashtags, sections on like Facebook and Instagram that people can tag you guys in, and it will go to this particular program and kind of help build the movement?
Yes. So right now we have a couple Facebook groups. There's a hunting one, a shooting sports one, where people can go on there and add mentorship stories and ask questions. And there's pretty good sized communities there. I think our shooting group has like 23,000 people in it, something like that. And then for hashtag wise, it's just Plus One movement. We don't have unique social media pages for Plus One yet. That could be something in the future, but Let's Go Hunting and Let's Go Shooting, those two resources, those are pretty much the drivers behind Plus One right now.
Is it Plus One, like PLUS and then the number one movement, or is it spelled out?
It's the branding of it is the plus sign and then one.
Gotcha.
For like a logo. But yes, for the hashtag, it is PLUSONE movement.
Got it. Perfect. Remember that, everybody in Shooterland. It's Plus One movement, all in the word form.
Yep.
Or you can just go to the website and click on the banner.
Yeah. I mean, there
Jason.
are a lot of different things you can do, but absolutely. And another thing is on the website, you can also go, whether you're signed up or not, you can go there to submit a mentorship story, whether you've been helped by a mentor or whether you are a mentor and you want to tell a story that, like an empowering story that can motivate others. You can also find that at nssf.org/+1. We're looking for more stories. We want to motivate people. We want this to be a community thing. And so we really need your help in really growing the movement.
Awesome. Well, Justin, sincerely, man, thank you very much for doing this. I look forward to this union between the Dead Pair and the NSSF next year. I'm excited about it. Like I said, I've got a couple more ideas for you, so don't hang up. I want to discuss those with you real quick. And then everybody get to the website, check it out. I mean, I get emails all the time from all of y'all sending us pictures and everything. This is your chance to be incentivized by the NSSF. So, Justin, thank you very much. We're going to be having you back on, I'm sure. There's going to be more stuff we're going to talk about here in the near future.
Yeah.
And, anytime, you and Mr. Bartozzi want to join us, you're more than welcome, man. Get a hold of me.
Sounds great. No, thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for doing everything you're doing too, and for being mentors.
The Dead Pair.
What do you think, Chad? Justin Morrissey from the NSSF. I think this program is awesome. I think it's going to be something big.
I was bouncing around in my head the whole time we were sitting there, because I didn't really know what to expect from him because I hadn't talked to those guys before. Wow, I'm impressed. And I think that I even have some excitement in my own bones about how I can help in any way possible or help more, right? Like what I was talking about in the podcast is like, we do what we do as coaches, for example, and we go out and teach somebody to shoot but most of the time they found us, whether it was through shooting a tournament or just hearing somebody else and, saying that was a good coach, you got to go to him. But, that's our version of taking somebody new shooting to hopefully give them such a positive experience that they'll come back. But, the retention, right. And I think using programs like this can help with the retention of these people that we do attach ourselves to or, teach out there or what have you. And,
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation because I think as far as retention goes, that's where I lean more heavily on the organizations. I think that's their job to work on the retention. It's our job to get them there.
I agree.
Yes,
well, just give them the information, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And when I say organizations, I mean, look, there's NSSF, there's, NSSA, NSCA, ATA, SCTP. There's all these organizations out there. But I think as a whole, we as, advocates of our sport should be taking somebody new shooting. I mean, speaking of which, we're having a Dead Pair Blast in April 3rd and 4th at LA Clays. That'll kick the year off. That's the West Coast Dead Pair Blast. Then the East Coast will be at Rocky Creek in Richburg, South Carolina. Mr. Jake Spangler is hosting that one. Now, the dates are tentative for that one is 11th and 12th. I need to confirm those, so don't go
of
put
December,
it in the calendar
right?
just yet.
That's in December.
Of December, yeah. 2026. So we got time with that one, but we are going to have a podcast with both Jake Spangler and June Begarth from LA Clays, who's the general manager. That's going to come on and talk about them and line out all the details. Now, I will say that we did talk to Justin off air, and we're going to try to do something incentive wise. If you're going to bring a new shooter, or if you know anybody that might like to come out and shoot that's never shot before, we're going to do some kind of incentive there with the NSSF at those events for new shooters. So I don't know what that is yet. We're just in talks about it right now. If anybody has any good ideas, feel free to email us. Be more than happy to entertain anything. But again, this is another event, another way to bring out new shooters and introduce people. But for all you seasoned competitors, we are going to do $25 back to class on everything. So it's going to be fun. We'll nail down all the details in the days to come, but hoping to get a little bit more money in there with some sponsors. So,
well, and I think also, and I also think that, we've talked about, I'm gonna call it super options. I think there's going to be every option under the sun to give people the ability to make money throughout every class. And that's a huge thing for us on the West Coast because we don't shoot without shooting for some money.
Right.
And I'm just excited because you and I come from a racing background. Some of the stuff I've been into in my background for racing, and I know the stuff you've been in racing, and we've always liked series. So this is our shot at trying to make something really cool, West and East, kind of like Supercross, where we might combine basically an overall winner, virtually, obviously, between the two and have some kind of award for that or prize money or something. But, and why do we know that this can happen? Because the cool drum roll, brrr, ding, 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 ding. Yours truly, Chad Roberts, and Jason Rambo will be setting the targets. So listen, you bitches, shooter land, if you don't, I've been all over the country and shot some targets from the best in the business. So I have some ideas, been shooting at this club since I started. So hopefully with the blessing of June, of course, I'll be able to, and Jason will be able to set some stuff that they don't see there often. And if they have seen it, it's at the tour stops, and we're not going to kill everybody, but we're going to definitely make it worth your while.
Well, there's always a possibility too. I just talked to Sean the other day. Depends on if he can make one or the other or both or whatever. He's going to be throwing something in there too, whether he's going to set part of the 5 stand or part of the super sporting. Sean will be in, if he can make it, he's going to be involved. So you're going to have a good mix, especially if he can make it between the three of us. So, but I think,
I can't wait.
Chad and I have been talking about some stuff, and I think we're going to do stuff that's fun, guys. Understand this. Okay. We're not going to break your back on these targets. We're going to do stuff that's fun stuff. We're trying to create some presentations that you haven't seen before. Something that's a little wild, something that's a little different. And what Chad was talking about, combining the two coasts, we're talking about doing an option, class option, where your money will hold. If you shoot the first one on the West Coast, your money will hold until the last one is wrapped up, and then it's going to be a score from East to West. So it's East versus West, right? Little fun stuff there.
I think this will be super fun. Don't call me to hire me to go set targets because I'm not that guy. I just want to set them for this tournament. Hopefully people won't try to kill me, but if they do, I guess I did my job one way or the other. So same as Jason.
Yep, absolutely. No, there's going to be a lot of fun things associated with these two tournaments. So stay tuned for some details on that. In the meantime, please check out our sponsors. I know I talked about them in the beginning of the show, but they do support us. They're all coming back with us next year. We got a few new ones that are going to be joining us, possibly somebody from outside the industry. And I'm really excited about that and hope that comes to fruition because that's going to be something new for us. So, but stay tuned. Lots of good stuff coming. Still have one more episode before we wrap this year up. Just a reminder, it's a little early, but we will not have an episode the week of Christmas or New Year's. So we'll see you back the first Thursday in January. But we do have one more episode to wrap this year up. And I think Big Man's joining me for that one. That's going to be cool. So nice to have him back before the end of the year. Chad, thank you for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. You know, you filled some big shoes today.
Hey, man, I got all my equipment over here, and I'm, like you and I were talking about, setting it up to do some more stuff that I'm going to be doing. Yeah. So this all works together. And I appreciate you guys having me be part of your program because I'm Mr. Chatterbox. So I like to be a co-host. Obviously, we have some a few conflicting sponsors, So I'm a guest co-host, and I'll be your guest co-host anytime you want, little buddy.
That's awesome. Why don't you call him little? You're a half-inch shorter than me.
I know, right? I am a short little dude. I'm a midget. So that's why I need a stool. I mean, if you ever look at the Ranger video they did with me out at LA Clays, it looks really cool, but what they don't show you, which I hope they'll put out sometime, is me standing on an 8-inch box because I was so short in the cage. So, and trying to shoot from an 8-inch box because you're short is something else, but I look good, I guess. So.
That's hilarious. I remember it was a couple of years back. Somebody took a picture. Grace Callahan was standing on a cooler because she couldn't see over the weeds or something to see a certain target or whatever. So she was standing on a cooler. I'm
just waiting for an NSCA to come up with another rule that we have to pass as delegates because if somebody's standing on a box or something, right? So,
right.
We'll see.
Yeah. Nah, no stilts in shooting. So, but anyway, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you, Chad, for joining us.
Yes, sir.
And hey, just to try to carry the torch for the big man, I'll say it. Take someone new shooting, take them to a tournament, and show them what fun it is, and sport will sell itself. So, Chad Roberts, thank you again. Until next week, we cannot wait to see you all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, the mark of performance, and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Atlas Traps, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Rhino Chokes, Long Range LLC, Gun and Trophy Insurance, Taconic Distillery, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works.